What's up, everybody? It's Brandon from Box Office Banner and Cult Flick Symposium, and I'm here to talk some more Yellowjackets with you. After the crazy adrenaline fueled episode that was episode 2, at least for me, because it was just downright insane what they did to their poor old leader, Jackie. Yellowjacket style at the end of episode 2. Ate her alive. And now I think we really get to see for the first time what the full reins and ideas of what can conspire between this group of girls can and probably will be under the reign of Lottie. All right. So, thing is with Lottie, we've kind of sensed that she's taken over for Jackie. And Jackie, has been dead now, at least for these few episodes. And we haven't seen everything that's transpired in between necessarily either. But because Jackie's been dead for like 2 months, whatever happened, and I guess that month that we didn't see, since they've been surviving in the winter. I'm sure that like maybe a month. I think like a month had passed, going from the season finale of last season and then to this. Just assuming, unless I missed something, but I believe they say in the show it's been 2 months. She's been dead. That Shauna's been playing around with her. So Lottie's kind of coming into full swing, because she was already kind of doing that because Jackie was this girl that was the leader of the group. She's just the hottest chick in school, fucking popular as hell, the leader of the Yellowjackets. But we all know when she got to the wilderness, a new leader had to emerge because, yeah, she's fine in school and stuff like that. But out in the middle of the wild, she is not the most equipped to be the leader of the Yellowjackets anymore. It's a whole different ball game. And I think some people forget that. And Lottie, with everything she's done, like almost like premonition-wise, everything that she's done to garner the support of these girls in the midst of their current situation rather than their old situation, has kind of been thrust a little bit to the forefront. And this episode, while Jackie's been dead for 2 months, and she kind of fallen behind as like the proverbial leader, now she's fully put to rest. She's literally been consumed by the group. And I think it's not really like beating you over the head with it, but we're starting to see, I know I quoted The Mist, something that Thomas Jane's character said, something about, along the lines like people are good, but when you back them into a corner, they can turn into animals. I'm going to quote The Mist again, or not quote The Mist, but talk about something similar to The Mist. If you watch The Mist, and this isn't like one of my favorite movies, I love it. It's just funny how like it coincides with what's going on in here in a weird way. I think we're beginning to see things get set up to where it can get downright fucking scary for the people there, like voted off the island scary. Because like in The Mist, you had the one girl that was the Bible thumper that was just like losing her mind, like she's like, you gotta follow me, it's Revelations, look at it. And the other people that are trying to be sensible, they're like, you cannot talk, and they literally murdered somebody. They're like, you've got to murder him, he's a non-believer. Just regular people turned into that. I think we're seeing with Lottie where there's a few people that are just like, no, that's not what's going on, what are you talking about, where other people are just like and wide-eyed and in awe of what she's saying, and it's like, oh, she knows. I think this is starting to set up something to where Lottie is going to be able to manipulate people's thoughts, if she's even manipulating. How much of her power do we actually know about in terms of what she can see, what she can't see? Either way, people need something to cling on to in desperate hours, and these are desperate hours, and we're going to see a shift in the group, most likely. And one person at the huge forefront of that is Coach Ben, who, it seems like they do this in shows. I hate to tell you people if you're not hip to this, but it seems like anytime they really like put a lot of just, they put a lot of weight into that character, especially when they already kind of feel like an outcast. It kind of almost feels like a farewell. And I'm wondering if Coach Ben's going to be the next person to be cannibalized. You could already kind of add that up, but when you're looking at it, Coach Ben, like they're doing a whole flashback thing for him in this episode with his partner. And his partner, and how like they're just having these mistakes, not mistakes, but like he feels like he made too many mistakes, and now he's stuck out here in the wilderness with nothing to show for it, and it's haunting him. And we're doing a lot of these flashbacks, making it a little bit more personal with him. This could be the first time where maybe we run into something like that, where a few people are like, no, don't kill Coach Ben, and then Lottie now being absolutely going to out of her mind, I know what I know, you need to listen to me, and then having a bunch of the group back her up, and there's nothing the other group, part of the group, can do, and we could get that proverbial split. So I'm looking for this kind of thing. There's not anything definitive to say that's going to happen, but I feel like we're getting into that territory, and Coach Ben could be a prime suspect to be a victim for that. Because, I mean, it's not even just that. It's different things going on with Lottie, the way we saw at the end of the episode, the way the birds fell. But then you also had like the bees, like, and now we're going to present time, Lottie, present time in the show, where she's taking around Nat and she's showing the bees off and like the colony and how they are around the queen bee. And at the end of the episode, there's even maybe, you know, just like a little underlying thing going on there where you're looking at her bees and she takes them out and there's blood everywhere. Now, maybe this is something that's going to happen in the future, but maybe it's also something where she's looking back when she was queen bee when she was younger and she failed and all there was murder in her wake when she was supposed to lead this army to do something better. So we could definitely have some, maybe that's some just showcasing that, like, what actually went down there without actually seeing it yet. You could maybe tie that in together. Maybe I'm reaching, maybe I'm not. You look into that with what you may, but it's definitely interesting what's going on with Lottie. I did like Nat though this episode, because last episode I kind of alluded to just like there's no way Nat's falling for all this shit Lottie's saying, but she might be doing that. We don't see it yet as a viewer, but she might be doing that just to earn Lottie's trust. And now, in this episode, when she was getting shown around, Nat seemed to be a lot more inquisitive. And when she got away from Lottie, it seemed like she had, those rabbit ears up. Happy Easter, y'all. Uh, she seemed more locked into the situation. Like like the eyebrows raising a little bit. She was looking around. She was being more inquisitive. So I don't necessarily think, like I was afraid of last episode, that she's just fell hook, line, and sinker for Lottie. Because I don't expect the character of Nat to do that. This episode showed me a little more of she's questioning the situation, but maybe she's just applying that in the last episode to Lottie to make Lottie think that she is hook, line, and sinker. So I'm glad that kind of happened, at least from my point of view. Yeah, so verdict's out on that whole situation, present day, Lottie and Nat, like what's going to happen with that. Very curious. I just can't imagine it's good. Even if Lottie ends up somehow being this good character now, present day, there's got to be some type of fishy, weird shit going on other than what we've seen so far. It's not going to that can't be the end all be all what we've seen so far. There's got to be more to it than that. Curious to see where that goes. Misty, this is like my favorite episode with Misty yet. Misty was so much fun with Elijah Wood here. I really like their scene where they're interrogating the one guy and she's got to do it over like from the bathroom and he's got to leave at one point because he says he's got IBS because Misty's like, punch him. And Elijah Wood's like, I'm not going to punch him. Like, what are you talking about? And then like Misty explains, like, knowing him from high school and like, this is how you deal with him. You got to play bad cop. And he just comes out immediately, socks him in the face. And he's like, what in the hell, man? I'm cooperating. What's wrong with you? This episode actually had some pretty funny scenes, and I finally got to see Elijah Wood, Elijah Wood's character and Misty, Christina Ricci's character, like kind of just share the screen and show off what chemistry they could potentially have. I kind of touched on that in episode 2, how it seems like they could be a very formidable, fun team to watch, and they didn't disappoint at all. They seem like they're going to only grow and be just very fun to watch as a duo, as this couple that's just like oddly perfect for each other. Like they seem like they were born on different sides of the planet, but somehow the universe forces them together in this weird way, because they seem like they're perfect for each other. And we've only seen them share the screen for how many minutes, but I kind of sense that, and it's only shown to be true just through that one scene. They just seem like they'll be dynamite together as characters. So looking forward to that. We talk about Thaisa and Van. Okay. This is where this is getting interesting. I don't know how Van never thought about this before, as in like younger Van. I mean, for her to be like let her go to sleep, but then she follows Thaisa. That's a dangerous game, but you're out here in the middle of nowhere. Every day's a dangerous game. This is going on with the person you love. Why not do this? Makes perfect sense. Why didn't you think of it before? Figure out what the fuck happens with Taissa when she goes on this journey. Not like, tie a rope to her or something like, oh, let me find her. Like, no, go with her. Go on this exploration with her. Figure out what's happening. And we got a little more into it here because Taissa talks about you have to ask her or whatever, something along the lines, not verbatim. And then Van's like, ask who? Like me or whatever. It's like, no, Taissa. So basically, what we already knew, Taissa, as Taissa, is saying she's not Taissa. So there's definitely something more going on there. And she led Van right to a symbol on the tree. And she's talking about the guy with no eyes. So we are slowly digging a little deeper into that, which I thought was really, really good and kind of creepy just hearing Taissa, watching her say out loud, we were already thinking and suspecting or whatever, what have you. Just like, no, not Taissa. Like I have to ask Taissa. So Taissa saying I have to ask Taissa, just seeing is believing. That kind of was chilling in its own weird way, and seeing Van's reaction, very cool. And then Taissa dealing with the shit in present day. I think we're about to get Van, people. I mean, I can't imagine or suffice what else that would mean. Seeing Taissa with her wife in the hospital, she's beat up, and Taissa again. They did this briefly in the last episode where she looked away from the mirror. This is a lot more drug out. She completely turns around, and the mirror is doing something completely different. The reflection is not moving with her. The reflection is its own entity doing its own thing, Poltergeist fucking 3 style. Yeah. Really, really weird stuff. And the reflection says go to her. And initially you might think like, okay, she's talking about go to her wife. But when you're watching it, she says go to her, and you're like, maybe she means Van. And she does this in the mirror. It's almost like that one emoji where you're like hiding your eyes, but like she does that. And that kind of looks like, when Van was bandaged up. So I think this is where Taissa is going to have no choice but to find Van. And who we kidding? We know adult Van is in this season. That's been reported. We've seen the actress, all that good shit. Seems completely reasonable that is the next step, and Van will probably be in the next episode. I haven't seen a preview for the next episode, but that should happen very soon, which I'm really excited about, and where that goes, and probably just finally figuring out what the fuck happened with Taissa and Van. What shook everything up with that? I've been wanting to know that for a while. Very excited for that. And Taissa, like, I don't know if I said this last review, but I got to give her, dude, her flowers, because, like, for me, in the first season, all the adult characters, Taissa was fine as the adult character, but, like, it was like the other three. Shauna, fucking Misty, and Natalie. Like, way up here. Amazing. And then Taissa was, like, down here. Like, yeah, she's good, but she's overshadowed, like, by a lot. This season, don't know the actress's name off the top of my head. I'm a very forgetful person. But she is doing an amazing job as adult Taissa. This season, she's kind of stealing the show in a weird way. She might be my favorite of the characters, which I did not see that. It's always refreshing when a season comes back and just takes a character you're like, okay, yeah, this one's good, but not as good as the other ones, and then they just give her chance to shine, and she comes through and flies through with passing colors. So very happy about Taissa, adult Taissa, in this season so far. She is very much doing a great job of showing that broken, confused, don't know if I did this, where am I right now. Acting has just been very almost tour de force performance from her. I believe everything, and they're really churning good performances out of her, and she's churning them out of herself. Can't say enough about her this season. Shauna and Jeff. Shauna's breaking, dude. Like, she's, like, as an adult, like, she's losing it. We didn't get much from her in, like, the younger side of things, but, like, Shauna, like, legitimately, you can believe, like, she's trying to fucking, like, she's craving murder again. Like, she, maybe, like, the whole thing with Adam, like, just opened a door, because you believe it. Like, it doesn't feel like she's acting or just putting on for, like, the person or the character she's doing in the scene. Like, it looks like she really wants it bad. So that's getting really interesting. Her and Jeff, dude, poor Jeff. I was wondering how they were going to go about this, and I kind of touched on the first episode before Jeff pretty much disappeared in the second episode, how he's definitely feeling the effects of Shauna's affair a lot more than it seemed like it was letting on at first, and now they've came out and just completely hit that over the head and said it. He is losing his mind over this thing, And Shauna, he's about to take her on like a random trip, trying to be more spontaneous, trying to win her back over, maybe even himself back over, that he can be the guy. He's not boring old Jeff. And of course, he almost runs over a guy. Another pretty funny scene, actually. This episode had some good funny moments. And this guy tries to rob him, and Shauna just fucking, like, she over there, she turns into a middle linebacker and just like tackles dude, basically takes the gun. The guy still gets away with the fucking minivan. What Mr. Schwoozums, is that what it was? She's like, oh, it wasn't just the van, Jeff. Yeah, Mr. Schwoozums, or all these things like that, like when Callie was a baby, trying to justify, almost getting shot over, as Jeff called it, our piece of shit minivan. There's something off with Shauna, big time right now, and she still wasn't done. Even Jeff's just like, what do you think, you're fucking Rambo? Which was great. Love Rambo. Love Yellowjackets. And when they get together, whew. And then she, just proving the point, went and got the van. And that scene, that's definitely one of my favorite scenes of the season so far. Melanie Linsky just murdered that scene. Because, Melanie Linsky in general looks harmless. And she's got like the most harmless voice ever. And the guy that has the fucking van that was stolen, the guy that's running the show over there, he's even looking at it like, you're not going to pull that trigger. You're shaking, all this shit. But that little speech she gives, talking about killing someone and having to cut the skin back and how thick it is, it really sticks on, with like tears in her eyes. And she's like, when you're about to kill somebody, they give you a look. And then like the guy's kind of shriveling up. She's like, that's the look. That whole scene, so well done, so very effective. This season so far, I love the way it is unfolding. But again, it's a lot like last season. We didn't get a whole lot of answers, but like the buildup was amazing. And right now they're doing the same thing again and again. I just worry at some point if they're not going to be able to answer everything, because they keep interpreting or keep inserting more questions, and us as viewers, the way we're interpreting it, I hope is going to be good enough or just concrete evidence is going to be good enough, because there's a lot, man. There's a whole lot that they've shoes-wise to fill. So it's getting very interesting. I definitely like this season. This was a great episode. One other thing about Misty, real quick, that I wanted to add on. This was a great episode for Misty because it's like she almost found a friend with Elijah Wood, which was really cool. Not just their chemistry, but like down to like the actual scene, just like what Elijah Wood had to do to kind of like get close. She's like, you did all that for me. And then Misty as well, when she's younger, she did like her whole performance for Shauna's little baby shower thing. They did a whole baby shower thing for her, which was, I guess, kind of cool. You got to make the best out of nothing when you're in that situation. But Shauna, she just looks lost in it all. She don't know what the fuck's going on. Poor Shauna. We'll see what transpires with that. But Misty was the star of the hour, dude. Everybody clapped, like, let's go, Misty. And you did get a vibe of like when you were looking at her, just like, wow, like she seems at peace right now. She seems as happy as she ever was. Like, school was terrible. This is amazing for her, which is a big reason why, I don't know if y'all forgot, she's the one that destroyed the tracking device. Still waiting for that to fucking come up. Maybe that's something Lottie can piece together or knows. So that could be another interesting thing. I hope that doesn't get lost, because I haven't forgot about it. I don't know about y'all, but Misty likes the camaraderie. She craves it. She needs it. Never had that in high school, and I was happy, being a big fan of Misty's character, to see she got that in some way in this episode. So yeah, guys, another fucking great episode. This was maybe my favorite episode of the season. It's tough toss up between this and two. Two definitely had the most shocking scene, but overall fleshed out from minute 1 to minute 57. I think it's a 57-minute episode. This was the best overall episode for me. So I'm extremely excited about this. Keep it coming, Yellowjackets. You're doing a great job. And again, I'm going to always say this. I just hope y'all have enough ammunition to really flesh out all these interesting questions and scenarios that you keeping us hook, line, and sinkered in with. So, yeah, guys. Love you. Hope you enjoyed the episode, too. Let me know what y'all thought about it. See y'all later.